Hi guys! So for my loose parts project, I knew I wanted to do something that was based in education and something that's been a real interest of mine throughout this whole year and this whole grad school experience has been working with siblings. So I wanted to do something that I could work with the siblings a little bit. So I kind of, through a bunch of different ways, came up with the idea of doing an incubator for a newborn. And I kind of came up with this idea a couple weeks ago when the family I babysit for, there was a new baby born, like a cousin was born, and all the kids were really excited, and they were like asking a ton of questions, like when's he gonna come home and everything like that. So they were very excited, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a thing, you know, for older siblings or toddlers when there's a new baby born. It's like there's a lot of questions, and what about those babies that have a little bit of a longer hospitalization? My cousin, he's a year old. He turned a year last week. He had a longer hospitalization. He was kept in an incubator just for a couple days, and then he came home. But so it was kind of like a mix. That was kind of my influence. And then my parents actually did like a planting class at like the gardener nursery thing near us. So they came back with this planting box. I was like, oh, this is perfect. So I took all the seedlings out of it and they planted them in the backyard, and then I cut holes in the sides, you can see, and I put tape around the edges because it was a little sharp. And then in the bottom, I had gotten a package in the mail that came in this really shiny foil package, and I was like, that looks like insulating paper or something you'd see, those really fluorescent lights that kind of shine down on incubators. This is just really reminiscent of that. So I cut out a section of it. The outside's really, really shiny. The inside's a little duller. And I put it in the bottom of the box, kind of as like the bedding. So it's the shiny side down, the bedding side there. And I've just put a small little animal. So my idea for using this loose parts would be as medical play, medical education for those siblings. So putting the baby in the box and the holes in the side. And I found this really old computer cord that was really interesting to me. So it's super old. I don't even know what you would do with this. Put it in a car or something. But then there's like this piece, which is huge. But it has this really cool like Velcro strap around it. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's you know, a blood pressure cuff, or you know, the finger pulse or something. So I figured we could play with this, use this in the side. You know, you can either go in and then pull it through, or go through the side and just kind of let a kid do what they want for it, so they're familiar with what they'd see. You can put it in, attach it to the bear's arm. But yeah, this piece was really cool. I'd probably disconnect it from this, but I was a little afraid to cut the wires. And then this just looks really super medical, and plugging it into something else, we could put it into Play-Doh. I also had medical tape laying around. My parents work in hospitals, so we have this everywhere. So we could do something with this. I also had this little piece, this little like tiny little baster thing. I think this was something for my dog like 1,000 years ago. And I was like, this is something that, you know, is around newborns, like suctioning, and you know, letting a little kid play with that, and you know, pretend to do it on the baby or go through the holes. So I brought in a lot of extra pieces to go along with it, and just kind of a simulation of, you know, seeing an incubator, because it could be kind of a scary thing. Why is the baby in the box still? So, you know, trying to really normalize that situation as best as I could. Right? Thanks, guys.